Testing. Testing. I hope this is working. Okay, so today is a story time. A story time. Before the story time, I just shaved and I look so snatched. I've been growing out this part and it looks so good. I look stunning as you. Okay, so today's story time is about the time that I almost dated a surgeon. Almost. So we're gonna get into it now. So this story starts about, say, 2 or 3 years ago. I was on my Carrie Bradshaw shit. I was employed. Tier. I had a job. It was an at-home job, and I was doing technical support. And then one of these days I got bored, and I think I jumped on Hinge. I heard it through the grapevine. I was friends with this girl who worked in HR, so she was using it. I was about like 25, I think. I don't know. But I jumped on Hinge. So I'm using Hinge. I feel like it's really dark. I'm so sorry. So I'm using Hinge for like a few weeks while I'm working. I'm working like 40 hours at this point. So I'm using Hinge while I'm doing that. And the Hinge is like a catastrophe. Like the Hinge is very, very much two pictures, not really a bio, not really creative. It was just something that I did because, my friend recommended me do it. So I did it. So I'm using Hinge, and then obviously I'm getting matches. Some of them are weird. Some of them, there's no conversation, but this one particular guy, he was really cute, and he was where I was working at, because I'm not going to say where I live, but he was very cute. So we started going back and forth and texting. I consider myself a really good texter, so I don't know. Okay, so basically, I was going out at this time a lot, in the city where I'm from. So I was going out a lot. So me and my friend decided to go out, and then I decided to invite the person who was a supposed surgeon on one of these escapades out this one night. And I was like, I get along with people better in groups. So I was like, we're just going to do it as a group event, and then they can join in. So yeah. Okay, so I can't stay on topic, but so, we go out, and he meets us at this place out, and it was a little awkward because we've talked, but we just never, like, I guess, got to know each other like that. So we're in a group. I'm with my friends. He just came by himself, which was a little weird, but, I don't ask any questions. I'm just there out to vibe, to have a good time. So I'm getting to know him. First time meeting, so there's nothing serious going on. And that's when I started asking questions, because one thing about me is I'm an investigator. So I'm going to figure out what the tea is immediately, because I don't want to end up in a body bag. I'm too cute for that. So I started asking questions, and I feel like y'all should do that too if you're dating. So I started asking questions, and I asked him about, just life, about his work. He didn't really talk about being a surgeon. He kind of just mentioned it, in a weird way. I seem to attract guys who work in the medical field a lot, so it's kind of strange. But he just mentioned it. For me, I'm not a status person, so I didn't really ask any questions. I was like, okay, cool, because I've talked to a lot of type of people in my life as an adult, so it wasn't a big deal. But he did mention that one of his exes worked in a morgue, a mortician. I don't know what that is, but you know, the ex worked with dead bodies. And that was, and he enjoyed that about that person, his ex. So I started to get a little weirded out, just a little bit, just a tad. And another thing is like when you're out with your friends and then you're like meeting them at the same time, it's like hard when you're like social to like balance out like talking to them, getting to know them, and then being with your friends because he wasn't really talking to my friends, so it was like a little weird. Um, but yeah, we talked a little bit. We got a few drinks. It was a big bar that we were at, so that was really nice, really cool. But the conversation was just like he kept mentioning the mortician ex. And that's when I kind of knew. I was like, I don't think he likes me. I'm more into like, fitness, fashion, music, those type of things. I do like darker things too, but like, you know, I draw the line at unalive bodies and things of that nature. So I just kind of dropped off of the conversation. But he was so sweet. He was so nice and a little awkward. But he was a surgeon, so I guess that's like the personality for that. Um, but yeah, he didn't really talk about his job. I didn't really talk about my job. It was like very much touch and go, more like a meeting, a professional meeting, more than a date. Or it wasn't really a date, but like a meetup, I guess. So to wrap up, we end up leaving the bar. Um, we texted a little bit after that, but then I ended up meeting somebody else on Hinge. And that is a whole other story I can get into another day. Very crazy. The guy was in jail, or he just got out of jail. Um, the dating history is wild, but yeah, that was my time almost dating a surgeon. And looking back now, I probably should have took one for the team because your boy is struggling with a degree now. So yeah, that is the story time of how I almost dated a surgeon. He was very sweet, but just not my type. A little awkward. So girls, if you like that, go for it. But it wasn't for me. So yeah, that is my story time. I'm gonna start doing more of these because I have the time, or I have the motivation to do them because I have a lot of stories to tell. But yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.